place whereby I was sad and depressed also, because I was asking myself a lot of questions. Were all those years like worth it, So how I managed to like cope or revive my hope is through music. Like, music has honestly kept my mental health intact. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kindness Circle podcast with me, Mudula Matapelo, as your host. On this platform, we talk about all things good, we talk about all things positive, and all things kind. So, if you are in search for a feel good story, or some encouragement or inspiration, or you are seeking some knowledge or education about certain topics, especially the ones that promotes and talks about kindness to others and also to yourself, look no further and stay right here with me on this channel. On today's episode, I am going to talk about mental health. As we all know that on the 10th of October, we were celebrating World Mental Health Day. People celebrate this day by raising awareness about mental health issues and also try to end the stigma and discrimination around it. According to World Health Organization, mental health is defined as the mental state of well-being, where a person is able to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, and also learn and work well, and also contribute to their community. To be honest, I personally feel like all of us have had or experienced mental health issues in our lives. The reason I say that is because I'm sure we can all agree that at one point in our lives, we have felt like we can't cope with what life is throwing at us, or at some point, we felt like we can't do or perform our daily responsibilities and we just want to sober in our emotions. So, hence, I am saying I feel like all of us at one point and all of us can agree that we have experienced mental health issues in our lives. If you are watching this video right now, from wherever you are watching from, this is my wish for you. May all the pain that you feel and cry about when no one is looking teach you the lesson and pass. May all your heart desires and all the things that you overthink about be granted to you. May you find favor with the universe. May you eventually find a safe space for you to freely express all of your emotions. This is really my wish for you as we are celebrating Mental Health Awareness this month of October. So, before we go any further, I'm sure a lot of you have been asking themselves as to what is going on right here behind me, the balloons, as to who is responsible for the balloons. So, this is a balloon garland. This balloon garland is attached to the backdrop. So what is a balloon garland? A balloon garland is basically connecting many balloons together so that they become one. And then I attach them to the backdrop. So basically, if you are looking for someone who can beautify your space in terms of kiddies parties, baby showers, launches, anniversaries, graduations, all those events that we normally celebrate, and you need someone to assist with decor or balloon styling, just know that I am the girl. So you can follow Ora Umpi Deco on Instagram to see more of my work. And you can also follow Ora Umpi Baby Shop on TikTok. And that's where you can see all the work that I do with regards to deco as well as balloons. So I'll be waiting for those enquiries and for those bookings. Okay, so the reason I believe that mental health, it is an important conversation or an important topic to talk about is because oftentimes we are scared, to talk about exactly how we feel. We are scared to talk about how things make us feel, because we are scared of being labeled as being sensitive. And also, we are just afraid of the discrimination that we might experience if we say exactly how things make us feel, afraid of like expressing our emotions, because we even become scared to seek help, because we are often told like to toughen up. We are often told to develop a thick skin. So we even become scared to like seek professional help, So I believe that this is an important conversation to have, for everyone from all walks of life, from different ages, because the mental health, I feel it is an important part for everyone, whether young or old. So I believe that the more we have these conversations, the more we talk about for this topic, it is the more people learn, and also know how to cope with what life throws at them. So the more we have this conversation, it is the more people will even feel comfortable to talk about those things that they are experiencing, and even better, they'll become comfortable to even seek help. Above all, we can also learn from one another on how we can cope with these experiences only if we openly talk about those things. So the reason I said before that I believe all of us at some point, have experienced mental health issues, either diagnosed or undiagnosed. We all have. So I remember I also include myself, obviously, when I say all of us, because I remember back in 2020, I think I will just try to narrate a story that I remember and also share as to how I was coping during that time. So I completed my degree in 2019, but when I completed, I was already working somewhere. So when the country was shut down, I think it was of March 2020. When the country was shut down, obviously, we couldn't go to work where I was working because everyone was not going to work at that time, right? But as time went by, obviously, as I had completed what I was studying for in 2019, I obviously wanted a job, that also relates to what I went to school for. So during that year, like I kind of became so discouraged, because at one point I have been told that I so and so have studied what you studied and they still don't have a job on this day. And also, when you listen, obviously, you also hear news about unemployment rate in South Africa. So you, as a graduate, like as a new graduate, you kind of panic. You are asking yourself, will I ever find a job, especially the one that I went to school for? So I found myself like thinking about that, like overthinking about it and asking myself a lot of questions, considering that I've already been told that so and so is still unemployed and they did what you did. And also you also look at the reality of this unemployment rate in South Africa. So I was kind of panicking, and the thought of it made me sad, So I can say it kind of put me at a place whereby I was sad and depressed also, because I was asking myself a lot of questions. Were all those years like worth it, So how I managed to like cope or revive my hope is through music. Like music has honestly kept my mental health intact. So I remember every time I would feel overwhelmed by those emotions, I would feel overwhelmed by those thoughts, I always resorted back to music, listening to music, because every time I would listen to music, like after that, I would feel so relieved. I would feel like my hope is revived, and I'll also feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel. Let me just. And also, one thing that made me cope, with that era or that phase of my life, also prayer. Like, I feel some of us we pray, or all of us pray, right? And during that time, I had the thing of God is like a father, right? And when you go to your father, like when you go to them, and let's say maybe you are asking them to buy you a sneaker, for example. I don't know what other example to make, so I'll just make that one. you know, when you go to them, like you already know the model or the type of sneaker that you want. Let's say Nike, for example. So when you get to them, like you say, Papa, please buy me a sneakers sa Nike ke se bone ko shopong eso, right? So you become like very specific. So during that period, like something in me was like, as I pray, I should become like very specific to God. Tell God, okay, this is the kind of job that I want, instead of just saying, God, please bless me with a job. So what helped me during that time was the prayer, because after praying and being so specific to God, like I would also feel the relief, and I'll also feel like my hope being revived, that whatever that you have asked God about, it will come. So those are the things that actually help me keep my mental health intact. Number one is music, listening to music, and also prayer. So one of the reasons that I believe that people are scared to like openly express their emotions or even seek professional help in terms of mental health is because of the fear, of being discriminated, or the fear of the stigma that surrounds that topic. So I myself has also been in that situation, because I remember, I think it was the year 2023. So if you go back to episode 4, where I talk about the top 4 things that I learned in therapy, I think I also spoke about this, whereby I was just trying to, there were situations that led me to feel that I need to seek professional help. So obviously, in the workplace, like if you are absent from work and you are going to consult with the doctor, you must come back with the doctor's note, right? So I think at the time when I was consulting with a therapist, it was also at a time when I was at work. So if I'm absent from work, it means when I come back, I need to bring in the doctor's letter, right? So I remember at first, I used to be like, I used to be, I don't know what's the word, but I think I used to be very reluctant, or I used to be very stressed about having to submit the sick note, because I remember that sick note, it had mental health something, and it was also showing that you were like consulting with a psychologist. So I was like, ish, now someone is gonna know that I was consulting with a psychologist, and they're gonna know that it treats in mental health. So now it's gonna look like I am having some like problems, or maybe um okay. So yeah, like I will become scared, because at that time I was not yet ready, to like openly reveal that, okay, I am going for counseling, or I'm going to see a therapist, and also I think in my mind, I was having that thing of people, discriminating me or labeling me because I am now maybe having issues with my mental health, So I remember like being very reluctant to submit that sick note. But eventually I did, because anyway, I was absent from work and I had to submit proof as to why I was absent, right? So I eventually like submitted that proof, and obviously I kept going and attending my sessions there. And the more I did it, the more it became normal, and there was no longer like that fear of someone labeling me as I'm not well mentally or anything like that. So I believe that it is very important, for us to have these conversations so that we don't feel out of place when we have to seek help, or we don't feel out of place when we actually express our feelings or our emotions. So the reason I am saying this is that maybe also you might have been delaying going to seek help because of the stigma, because of being afraid of the discrimination, or because of being afraid to be labeled as this person who is not well. This is just maybe a push for you, or an encouragement for you to say, you go for it. At first, yes, it will feel like that. You'll be afraid of how will people see me, or how will someone see me. But the more you do it and it benefits you, the more you also see and understand how important it is, for you to take care of your mental health and also look after your mental health. So yeah, so that is how I have had experiences with the issue of mental health. And if you also relate to any of the to anything about this topic, please feel free to share, those things that have helped you, to keep your mental health intact, because we are all learning here and we are all encouraging one another. So if you say something, that something might help me as much as what I am saying might also help somebody else. So please share with me on the comment section, what is it that you do to keep your mental health intact, or to keep your mental health up to date, because mental health is just like physical health. People exercise, people eat healthy. If someone is not well, they go and consult at a doctor so that they can be well. So as much as we are looking after our physical health, we also need to look after our mental health. So please share with me on the comments as to what are the ways in which you help keep your mental health intact, and I'd really appreciate that. And if this video has somehow helped you in one way or another, please don't forget to like this video and also show some love on the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, please remember to subscribe. Happy Mental Wealth Awareness Month. See you soon.